Good evening, everyone. I want to begin by asking you to close your eyes for a moment. Picture someone you deeply care about. Perhaps it's a partner, a parent, a child, or even a dear friend. Imagine their smile or the way their presence makes you feel warm, safe, and seen. Hold on to that feeling, because tonight we're diving into what makes those connections so powerful: love and affection. Let me share a simple but relatable story. A friend of mine once told me about a rough patch in her relationship. She and her partner, who once couldn't go a day without exchanging heartfelt words, found themselves growing distant. The demands of daily life, work deadlines, family obligations, endless to-do lists began to overshadow the small acts of love they used to cherish. One night, after another muted dinner, she mustered the courage to ask, "Do you still care about me like you used to?" Her partner looked at her, stunned, and said, "I never stopped. I just forgot how to show it." How many of us have been there? Life happens. Stress creeps in. We assume people know we love them, even when we stop showing it. Love and affection aren't just feelings, they're actions. They thrive in the small, intentional gestures that say, "I see you, you matter to me." A simple hug after a long day, a thoughtful note left on the kitchen counter, or taking the time to really listen when someone speaks can work wonders. I think about this. When was the last time you told someone you loved them, not out of routine, but with genuine, unguarded emotion? Love isn't just about grand declarations, it's about the quiet moments where we choose to connect. But let's be honest, it's not always easy. Misunderstandings can cloud our intentions. Fear of vulnerability can hold us back. Maybe you've been hurt before, and the idea of opening your heart again feels like standing in a storm without an umbrella. Let me share another story. A man once told me how he grew up in a home where affection was rare. His parents were good people, but they didn't know how to express love openly. As an adult, he struggled to tell his own children he loved them, fearing it would come out awkwardly or insincerely. One day, his youngest son drew him a picture with the words, "I love you," Dad scrawled in bright crayons. His son's openness melted his fear. That small act became the bridge that allowed him to say, "I love you too." Sometimes showing affection requires unlearning the walls we've built around our hearts. Misunderstandings, pride, and fear are part of the journey, but they're not insurmountable. We can choose to respond with kindness, patience, and a willingness to grow. So how can we nurture love and affection in our lives? 1. Be present. Whether it's a 5-minute conversation or an entire evening together, give the people you love your undivided attention. Set the phone aside, look them in the eye, and truly listen. 2. Express gratitude. Tell your loved ones what they mean to you. "I appreciate how you always support me," or "Thank you for being here," can make someone's day. 3. Practice forgiveness. We're all human. Mistakes will happen. When they do, try to approach them with empathy instead of resentment. 4. Celebrate the small things. Life isn't just about milestones, it's about the everyday moments. Celebrate them with affection, whether it's a shared laugh over coffee or a quick text to say, "I'm thinking of you." And pause for a moment. Reflect on the relationships in your life. Is there someone you could reach out to today, someone who might need a reminder that they are loved? Picture yourself taking that step: a phone call, a heartfelt message, or even an overdue hug. How do you think it would make them feel? And more importantly, how would it make you feel? Love is a journey. It's messy, imperfect, and sometimes hard. But it's also the most beautiful, transformative force in the world. It doesn't require perfection, it only asks for effort. So let us be brave. Let us love openly, forgive readily, and show affection generously. Because at the end of the day, love isn't about what we get, it's about what we give. And the more we give, the more it grows. Love is not just a feeling, it's an action. It's in the way we choose to show up for the people we care about, not just in the grand gestures, but in the little things we do each day. Think about it when you reflect on moments where you felt truly loved. Was it always tied to elaborate surprises or profound declarations? Or was it in something simple yet meaningful, like someone remembering your favorite coffee order, checking in after a difficult day, or sitting quietly with you when words weren't enough? True love isn't something that happens passively. It thrives when nurtured through deliberate and consistent acts. But what does that look like in our everyday lives? It could mean making the effort to give a warm hug as soon as you walk through the door, even if you're tired from a long day. It might be as simple as putting your phone away at the dinner table to give your full attention to the people you're with. These actions, small as they may seem, carry immense weight because they show thoughtfulness and care. Often we assume that the people we love know how we feel. They already know our care we tell ourselves, but unspoken love can sometimes feel invisible. Words and actions work together to build a bridge of connection. A heartfelt "I love you" or "I'm proud of you" coupled with consistent actions can turn an ordinary moment into one that stays with someone forever. Sometimes showing love means stepping out of your own comfort zone. Maybe you're not naturally expressive, or you were raised in an environment where affection wasn't often shown. It might feel awkward at first, but love grows in the effort we make to show up for others in ways that matter to them. A kind word, a small act of service, or even just sitting and listening without judgment, these are ways to remind the people in our lives that they're valued. It's not always easy. Life can feel chaotic, pulling us in multiple directions. In the middle of busy schedules and countless responsibilities, love can feel like another task to check off a list, but that's when the small acts matter most. Love doesn't require elaborate plans or perfect timing. It's in the everyday acts of kindness, affection, and attention. When we make an effort to show love consistently, we create a foundation of trust and security. Over time, these small, deliberate actions add up, strengthening our relationships and leaving a lasting impact. Love, when expressed through action, has the power to transform not only how others feel, but how we feel about ourselves. It opens the door to deeper connections, greater understanding, and a shared sense of belonging. Being present is one of the most profound ways we can show love and affection. In a world filled with distractions, truly giving someone your undivided attention is a rare and precious gift. Think about how often we find ourselves physically present but mentally elsewhere, scrolling on our phones, thinking about work, or letting our minds wander while someone is sharing something important. These moments, though small, can create a sense of disconnection, even among those we love the most. When we choose to be fully present, we communicate that the person in front of us matters. It's about more than just being in the same room. It's about engaging, listening, and connecting. Imagine a child trying to show a parent a drawing they made, only to have the parent glance up briefly while scrolling on their phone. The child might walk away feeling unseen or dismissed. Now picture the same scenario, but this time the parent sets the phone down, kneels to the child's level, and says, "Tell me all about it." That moment of focused attention can leave a lasting impression, one that says, "You are important to me." Being present isn't always easy. Life moves fast, and there's always something competing for our attention. Deadlines loom, notifications buzz, and the endless list of responsibilities doesn't stop growing. But love asks us to pause, even briefly, and prioritize the people who matter most. This might mean setting boundaries around technology, turning off notifications during family meals, putting the phone in another room during conversations, or creating specific times to disconnect from the digital world. It's not just about listening, but listening deeply. How often do we listen just to respond rather than to truly understand? When a loved one speaks, being present means hearing the words they're saying, noticing their tone, observing their body language. It means resisting the urge to interject with advice or solutions and instead offering the space for them to express themselves fully. Something as simple as saying, "I hear you," or "Tell me more about that," can open the door to deeper understanding and connection. Being present also involves being attuned to the needs and emotions of those around us. Sometimes it's not about words at all. Sitting quietly with someone who is grieving or holding a hand during a moment of uncertainty can speak volumes. Presence doesn't always require us to do or say the right thing. It's about simply being there, offering your full self, and showing that they're not alone. These moments of presence aren't always about grand gestures. They're often found in the everyday listening to your partner talk about their day, playing a game with your child without checking the time, or sharing a quiet cup of coffee with a friend. Small as they may seem, these moments are the threads that weave strong, loving relationships. Expressing gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to nurture love and affection in our relationships. It's easy to take the people we love for granted, especially when we see them every day. Over time, we might begin to assume that they know how much we appreciate them, even if we rarely say it out loud. But unspoken gratitude can leave a void, one where others may feel undervalued or unseen. Taking the time to acknowledge what others do for us and expressing our appreciation can transform how we connect with the people we care about. Gratitude doesn't have to be grand or overly elaborate to be meaningful. It's about noticing and appreciating the little things. When a friend calls to check on you after a rough week, a simple "thank you for thinking of me, it means a lot," can strengthen your bond. When your partner makes dinner, even on a hectic night, saying, "I appreciate you taking the time to do this," shows that their effort didn't go unnoticed. Gratitude is the glue that holds relationships together, reminding the people in our lives that their actions, no matter how small, are valued. One of the most profound effects of expressing gratitude is that it encourages more positive behaviors. When someone feels appreciated, they're more likely to continue those acts of kindness. Imagine a colleague who always goes out of their way to help with a project. And if their efforts are met with silence, they might feel unacknowledged or discouraged. But a heartfelt "I couldn't have done this without your help, thank you," can inspire them to keep supporting you in the future. Gratitude creates a cycle of positivity, where kindness and appreciation feed into one another. Gratitude also allows us to focus on the good in our relationships, even during challenging times. It's easy to dwell on what's missing or what went wrong, but gratitude shifts our perspective. When tensions arise or misunderstandings occur, taking a moment to reflect on what you value about the other person can help bridge the gap. Maybe they made a mistake, but they've always been dependable in other ways. Maybe they said something hurtful, but they've also been there for you during difficult times. Expressing gratitude in these moments doesn't excuse the issue, but reminds us of the bigger picture, the love and connection we share. Gratitude is most impactful when it's specific and sincere. Rather than a general thanks, try sharing exactly what you appreciate and why it matters to you. Thank you for always making me laugh when I'm feeling stressed, or I love how you make our home feel warm and welcoming. And make the other person feel truly seen and valued. These words of affirmation can linger long after they're spoken, leaving a lasting sense of connection and care. Practicing gratitude can become a habit, something we weave into the fabric of our daily lives. Whether it's a quick text, a handwritten note, or a quiet moment shared face-to-face, each expression of appreciation deepens the bonds of love and affection. Overcoming the fear of vulnerability is a crucial step in fostering love and affection. Vulnerability at its core is about allowing ourselves to be seen fully and authentically by others. It's about sharing our fears, hopes, and emotions without the certainty of how they will be received. Yet, for many of us, vulnerability can feel like stepping onto shaky ground. It's exposing parts of ourselves that we often keep hidden, fearing rejection, judgment, or misunderstanding. But in truth, vulnerability is the foundation upon which deep, meaningful relationships are built. I think about the moments when you felt closest to someone. It's often when walls came down and you shared something real, whether it was a personal struggle, a long-held dream, or simply admitting I need help. These moments of openness create a sense of trust and intimacy that strengthens the bonds we share with others. Still, the fear of being vulnerable can hold us back. We worry about appearing weak or being hurt, especially if past experiences have taught us that opening up can lead to pain. The truth is, vulnerability does come with risks, but it also carries immense rewards. When we allow ourselves to be seen as we truly are, we invite others to do the same. It's through this mutual openness that relationships grow deeper and more authentic. Imagine someone you care about admitting their struggles to you. Do you see them as weak, or do you feel honored that they trust you enough to share their inner world? Most of us would say the latter. So why is it so hard to believe that others would feel the same way about us? One way to overcome the fear of vulnerability is to start small. You don't need to dive into your deepest fears or secrets right away. Begin by sharing a little more about your thoughts, feelings, or experiences in safe and supportive relationships. Maybe it's telling a friend how much their support means to you, or admitting to a partner that you've been feeling overwhelmed. These small steps help build your confidence and demonstrate that vulnerability is often met with compassion rather than judgment. Another key is to reframe vulnerability as a strength rather than a weakness. It takes courage to show up fully in your relationships, to risk rejection in pursuit of connection. A person who can admit their flaws, ask for help, or express their emotions is someone who values honesty and growth. By embracing vulnerability, we not only deepen our connections with others, but also grow stronger within ourselves. It's also important to acknowledge that vulnerability won't always go perfectly. There may be times when our openness is met with discomfort or misunderstanding. In these moments, it's essential to remind ourselves that vulnerability isn't about controlling the response, it's about staying true to ourselves. Each step we take toward openness builds resilience and brings us closer to the relationships we truly want. Vulnerability is a practice, one that requires patience and self-compassion. It's not about being perfect or fearless, it's about showing up as we are and trusting that love and affection thrive in spaces of authenticity. Misunderstandings are an inevitable part of any relationship. No matter how much we care for someone, differences in communication styles, perspectives, or expectations can lead to moments of confusion or conflict. While misunderstandings can be frustrating, they don't have to be destructive. In fact, how we handle them can either weaken or strengthen the bonds of love and affection we share with others. The key lies in approaching these moments with empathy, patience, and a willingness to seek understanding. Imagine a scenario where a close friend forgets an important date like your birthday. You might feel hurt or unimportant, assuming their forgetfulness reflects how little they value the relationship. On the other side, your friend may feel terrible once they realize their mistake, knowing it was unintentional but unsure how to make things right. Without open communication, these misunderstandings can snowball into resentment. But by choosing to address the situation with empathy, by expressing your feelings honestly and giving the other person a chance to explain, you create space for clarity and connection. One of the biggest barriers to resolving misunderstandings is our tendency to assume the worst. When someone's actions don't align with our expectations, it's natural to create stories in our minds to fill the gaps. Maybe we think they don't care about me or they're being inconsiderate on purpose, but these assumptions are rarely accurate. Taking a moment to pause and ask what else could be true here can shift our perspective and help us approach the situation with curiosity rather than judgment. Effective communication is essential when misunderstandings arise. This starts with expressing your feelings in a way that invites dialogue rather than defensiveness. Using our statements can be incredibly helpful. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen to me try, I feel unheard when I'm sharing something important," this approach focuses on your experience rather than placing blame, making it easier for the other person to understand your perspective without feeling attacked. Equally important is listening with an open mind. When the other person explains their side, resist the urge to interrupt or plan your response while they're speaking. Truly hearing someone requires patience and a genuine desire to understand where they're coming from. Reflecting back what you hear, such as saying, "It sounds like you were overwhelmed and didn't realize how that came across," can show that you value their perspective and are committed to finding common ground. Another crucial element is giving grace. No one is perfect, and misunderstandings are often the result of unintentional missteps rather than malicious intent. Offering forgiveness and assuming good intentions can go a long way in diffusing tension and restoring harmony. While misunderstandings can feel like setbacks, they're also opportunities to learn more about each other. Each time we navigate these moments with empathy and care, we deepen our understanding and strengthen our connection. Relationships aren't about avoiding conflict altogether, but about how we choose to show up for each other when it arises. Practicing forgiveness is an essential part of nurturing love and affection in any relationship. No matter how much we care for someone, mistakes will happen. Harsh words might be spoken in the heat of the moment, promises may go unfulfilled, or actions may unintentionally hurt us. In those moments, it can feel easier to hold on to the pain or resentment rather than face the vulnerability that forgiveness requires. But forgiveness isn't just about letting go for the sake of the other person. It's a gift we give ourselves, one that creates space for healing and growth. When someone we love hurts us, it's natural to feel a mix of emotions, anger, sadness, disappointment. These feelings are valid, and it's important to acknowledge them rather than suppress them. Forgiveness doesn't mean pretending the hurt didn't happen or excusing harmful behavior. It's about choosing to release the grip that resentment has on our hearts. Holding on to anger may feel like a form of protection, but over time it weighs us down and builds walls that prevent deeper connection. Consider a time when someone close to you apologized sincerely after making a mistake. Perhaps they forgot something meaningful to you or unintentionally said something that caused pain. If you chose to forgive them, what happened next? Chances are that moment of forgiveness became a turning point, a chance to rebuild trust and move forward with a stronger bond. Forgiveness allows relationships to evolve and thrive despite the inevitable imperfections that come with being human. One of the most challenging aspects of forgiveness is letting go of the need to be right. When we feel wronged, it's tempting to cling to our perspective, to replay the scenario in our minds and justify our anger. But being right doesn't always lead to resolution. Forgiveness requires humility, the ability to prioritize the relationship over the need to win the argument. It's about saying, "Our connection matters more to me than keeping score." Forgiveness is also a process, not a single moment. It's okay if it doesn't happen all at once. Sometimes the hurt runs deep and it takes time to work through the emotions. During this process, it can be helpful to reflect on times when you've needed forgiveness yourself. None of us are perfect, and remembering our own missteps can foster empathy for the other person. It's important to set boundaries and communicate your needs while practicing forgiveness. If a behavior is repeated or particularly harmful, forgiveness doesn't mean tolerating it indefinitely. It's possible to forgive while also addressing the issue and working together to prevent it from happening again. Forgiveness isn't about erasing the past, but about creating a path forward. Celebrating everyday moments doesn't require elaborate plans or extra effort. It can be as simple as pausing to express appreciation for something someone has done, like saying, "Thank you for making my day easier," or "I really enjoyed spending time with you today." It could mean taking a few extra minutes to linger in a hug, laughing together at an inside joke, or sharing a favorite meal. These little rituals and acknowledgements build a reservoir of goodwill and connection that sustains relationships over time. One powerful way to celebrate the everyday is through mindfulness, paying attention to the present moment and the people around us. Instead of rushing through the routine, try to notice the small details that bring joy. Watch the way your child lights up when they're excited, or listen closely to your partner's voice as they tell you about their day. These moments are fleeting but incredibly significant, and giving them your full attention can make them feel special and cherished. Another way to make the everyday feel extraordinary is to create small traditions or rituals that bring joy to your relationships. Maybe it's having breakfast together every Sunday, taking an evening walk, or sharing a favorite song that reminds you of a special time. These traditions don't have to be grand, they just need to reflect your shared connection and create a sense of togetherness. It's also important to recognize that celebrating everyday moments is a mindset. It's about shifting your focus from what's missing or imperfect to what's already present and beautiful. In doing so, you cultivate a sense of gratitude and love that not only enriches your relationships, but also your own experience of life. Love is a journey. It's not a destination you arrive at or a fixed state you maintain. It's an ongoing process of growth, connection, and effort. Like any journey, it comes with twists and turns, highs and lows, and moments of both clarity and confusion. But what makes love so extraordinary is its ability to evolve over time, deepening with each step we take. When we view love as a journey, we embrace its imperfections and recognize that it's not about being perfect, but about being present and willing to grow together. At the beginning of any relationship, love often feels effortless. There's a sense of excitement and discovery, as if you're exploring uncharted territory together. These moments are beautiful, but they're only the starting point. As time passes, the initial spark might dim, not because love has faded, but because it's transforming. This is where the real work begins, the shift from infatuation to a deeper, more enduring connection. Growth is an essential part of the journey. Love challenges us to step outside of our comfort zones, to confront our fears, and to embrace vulnerability. It asks us to be patient when things don't go as planned, and to be open to learning from our mistakes. Sometimes this growth happens through joyful moments, like achieving a shared goal or celebrating a milestone together. Other times it comes through challenges, misunderstandings, disappointments, or external pressures that test the strength of your bond. These moments, while difficult, are opportunities to grow closer by working through them with compassion and understanding. Consistency is another vital aspect of the journey. Love isn't sustained by grand gestures alone, but by the small, everyday actions that show you care. It's in checking in with each other, making time for shared experiences, and showing appreciation for the little things. These consistent efforts build a foundation of trust and security, creating a relationship that can weather life's inevitable storms. The journey of love also requires adaptability. Life is full of change, and as individuals, we're constantly evolving. Our needs, goals, and circumstances shift over time, and so too must our approach to love. What worked in the early stages of a relationship might not be as effective years later. Adapting means staying attuned to each other, being willing to have honest conversations, and making adjustments to support each other's growth. One of the most rewarding aspects of love as a journey is the sense of partnership it fosters. It's about walking side by side, supporting each other through life's challenges, and celebrating its joys together. Even when the path is unclear or difficult, knowing that you're not alone makes all the difference. This shared journey creates a bond that's both strong and flexible, capable of withstanding the test of time. Ultimately, the beauty of love lies in its ability to transform. It's not about reaching a perfect state, but about embracing the process with all its messiness and magic. Each step, whether easy or hard, adds depth and meaning to the connection you share. Ultimately, forgiveness is a powerful act of love, not only for the other person, but also for yourself. By releasing resentment, you free up emotional energy to invest in the things that truly matter: connection, understanding, and the shared journey of growing together. Celebrating everyday moments is one of the most meaningful ways to nurture love and affection in our relationships. While big milestones like birthdays, anniversaries, or promotions often receive the spotlight, it's the quiet, ordinary moments that make up the majority of our lives. When we take the time to honor and appreciate these small, daily experiences, we create a sense of joy and connection that strengthens our bonds. Imagine coming home after a long day and finding your partner has set the table for dinner or prepared your favorite snack. It's not a grand gesture, but it speaks volumes. It says, "I was thinking of you." These small acts remind us that love doesn't always need to be extravagant to be meaningful. It's often found in the details: a thoughtful word, a shared laugh, or a kind gesture that might otherwise go unnoticed. Sometimes we overlook these moments because we're so focused on the next big thing. We tell ourselves we'll celebrate when we achieve a certain goal or reach a specific milestone. But by waiting for those moments, we miss the beauty of the present: the shared cup of coffee in the morning, the way someone remembers how you take your tea, or the comfort of sitting in silence with someone you love. Life is a collection of these small instances, and celebrating them brings a sense of gratitude and presence to our relationships.